This is a truck stop in Moncton, New Brunswick. Hey, I'm not gonna be in the way, am I?
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I did this many times before. I was wondering why there's a tow truck like the truck that I drove, the tilt and load. And then this guy came in, and he has a step deck, and on the step deck he has some kind of a dump truck over here, or snowplow. And so what they're gonna do now is they're gonna back the tilt and load or rollback truck to this, and he can make it level, and he has some support legs in there underneath, and then they just drive this truck on the bed, and then he moves forward, tilts the bed down, and I was not supposed to stop here. The only reason I stopped is because I have an issue. You see this? SERGEI system altered or fault detected. And this just happened 20 minutes ago. I was driving, minding my own business, driving 95 kilometers an hour, 59 miles per hour, because I drove like 91 before, but over here in New Brunswick it's super hilly, right? So I need some extra power to climb those hills because I'm 72,400 pounds. And everything's fine. I have full power. The truck drives great. The fuel economy was great. At first it was 7 miles per gallon US. Then when I hit these big hills and mountains, it went to 6, but still pretty good. And the only thing I noticed that was not typical was that my depth gauge, when I left this morning, it was full, right? And then I drove, I don't know, maybe like 4 hours, and then I look at the gauge, and the needle was already between the half and the next line over there, you know. It was like here, and I'm like, that's should not go, you know, down that fast. But sometimes it happens. It just sits at the bottom there, and then boom, it starts going, you know. But it can sit at the bottom at the full for a long time, you know. So I didn't worry too much. But then I stopped for a break, and there was no truck stop, so I just stopped on the ramp, on the exit ramp. And because I've been driving, right, so it's not a good idea to shut off your engine right away. Just you gotta give it a chance to cool down. And so I switched on my cruise control and increased the RPM to like 850, just to let it run for a couple of minutes, you know, before I shut it down. And as soon as I did that, I saw that message that you just saw, and then right away it gives me another message. It says basically I have 2 messages. So number 1 was this that you just saw, and number 2 was the engine will be further derated in 4 hours. Right? Or out of the blue, you know, everything was good. As soon as I stopped and I started idling, I guess because, you know, when you idle, I guess that's when you have, you know, more bad exhaust, right? Like when you're driving, because the RPM is higher, everything is good. But as soon as you stop, the mix becomes a richer, right? So anyway, so I call like over here. I looked up on Google Maps what's the nearest Kenworth dealer, and you see over there, yeah, on top of this armored transportation thing, on top over there in the middle of the screen, you can probably see Kenworth. So that's how close I am. And I love the picture on this Samsung. It's like really nice HDR, whatever. like the clouds. It looks much better than on my phone. And the reason I'm using the Samsung is because I'm expecting a call from the roadside assistance, because these guys are closed. See, like so my Cambridge is open. My Cambridge dealer where I bought the truck is open, and they're super nice guys, right? So so I called them and pushed, like, I think it was 2 for service, and I talked to a guy there, and I said, guys, you're my dealer. I service my truck at your location, and that's where I bought it actually. I was just hoping you can give me some advice. And I told him about these messages, and I said, what's gonna happen? Can I go to the port? Because that's where I'm going. I'm going to the port, which is like 2 hours away from here. And I said, can I go and get loaded and then do it, or is it better to fix it now? And he says, well, what happens when you see a message like that, he says, first you're derated by 25%. Then that next message that said the engine will be further derated in 4 hours, he says that means that you will lose 50% of your power. And he says 2 hours after that, your truck will be totally useless, because it'll limit you to 5 miles per hour speed. So which is like what, 1% of horsepower? I don't know. So I decided to stop here, and I called my freight broker, because this is like a big deal. It's like, I mean, the load, it's a whole bunch of trucks are involved, because it's a big crane, and of course they have an appointment there with the big crane that loads these big parts for this big crane, right? So, and I told him, I said, you guys want me to pay extra for the road service, or shall I wait till these guys open at 7? Because I said, if I can get roadside service now, they can probably fix it now, but it'll cost me at least $200 extra. They said that's the minimum charge. Like the lady, when I called the roadside assistance, she says that's the minimum charge is $200, no matter what, plus mileage. And I said, what mileage? I'm sitting across the street from the Kenworth dealer. But she says, well, the dealer is closed, so I don't know where the technician is coming from, so he might charge you for the travel from his location where he was, right? Because maybe he's at home somewhere in Montreal, Quebec, right? So he's going to charge you for 300 miles. Well, I'm kidding. I don't think so. But anyway, so that's what that Cambridge service guy told me. He says, if you're gonna wait till morning, he says, call us at 8 o'clock, and he says maybe our service advisor can kind of like facilitate things. They can call these guys over here, just give you maybe some kind of a break or something. He says, do you have a warranty? I said, I bought the truck in February 2018. And he says, well, the warranty on the engine is he says how much kilometers you have? I said 200,000. He says, oh, the warranty is 200, I think he said 200,000 miles, but 2 years. Oh, hold on. Hello, Sergey. Yeah, not bad, except I got this problem with the sensor. Are you the technician from Kenworth? Yeah, perfect. So do you think you can fix, like, if it's a sensor problem or wiring? Because that's what my, I'm from Cambridge, Ontario. I call them and the guy says, yeah, a message like this is usually it's either the sensor or the wiring. But, oh, so you don't do, so if it's a check engine light, you cannot do a roadside assistance? Okay. Okay, so, but I mean, I know they open at 7 or something, but do you know if do you work at this location in Moncton? Oh, do you know if they're gonna be too busy? Because, you know, I'm supposed to be in the port Monday morning to be loading, like in Halifax. Okay, yeah, I'm sitting at across the street. I'm sitting at this Shell truck stop here, right? So I can see your building from my window. It's too bad you guys are closed. So, and the parts is closed, right? So you don't have any access to parts either. Okay. Okay, so then. Okay, is it the door? So it's basically behind the building, right? Like you go around the building. Okay. And is there enough room there for the trailer, or shall I drop the trailer here at the truck stop? Oh, I can drop it there somewhere, right? Well, actually, I can just take the neck. You know, I have a RGN trailer, so it's very easy. I can just take the neck and drop the trailer, and the neck just sits on the back, so it's not in the way. Okay, so oh yeah, because all they need to do, they want to see how serious it is, right? Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and then my guy from Cambridge said, you know, he says, give us a call tomorrow when our service advisor comes in. He says maybe he can facilitate with the Moncton location, but I'm not sure what he can do. But okay, so then yeah, 7 o'clock. I'll be at the door over there. See what they can do. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Sorry. So they open at 7 o'clock, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye. All right, so if you heard that, so the guy says if it's a check engine light, they don't. Oh, these guys have ramps and everything here. So I'm gonna drive it down. I hope they don't fall into this way. So I hope if it tips over, it's gonna fall this way. But anyway, so he says that building over there, he says there's lots of room. He says you can drop the trailer or you can bring the trailer. And actually something is telling me, I know this location. You know what? I was here. These guys charged me it was over $2,000 when I had my international. See, that's all. Oh, so he didn't use the tow truck. So they just used the ramp. So why is the tow truck here? Maybe he's gonna load it after? I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I remember here I was coming out of US. I think it was US. Oh yeah, it was when I entered US. There was a DOT cop sitting right in the booth together with the customs guy. I think it was New York, when I was coming from Montreal, crossing there into New York. And sometimes there was a guy there, just, you know, I guess lazy. He doesn't want to check people somewhere else. He's just poking his head over the shoulder of the customs guy. So you're dealing with the customs, and this guy keeps asking you, okay, what's your driver's license, or what kind of truck you drive, and then takes your driver's license. Okay, follow me. And then he does inspection. And this particular guy was specializing in diagnostics. You know, they all have their own little pet peeve, like the one thing they know. And so this guy says, okay, international, right? Okay, so turn your key to start the engine, but don't start it. And then he was looking carefully at all the lights and all the messages, and then he says, your ABS is defective. He says, your ABS computer. And he starts giving me something about a missing message. He said, when you turn the key, there should be a message there. He says, I see the message for the trailer, ABS, you know, is being checked, right? That's what it does. When you turn the key, it runs like a quick diagnostics. But he says there was nothing about the ABS on the truck, so your ABS is defective. I think you need a new computer for the ABS. And I said, thank you, sir, for free diagnostics on the spot. So he gave me a ticket anyway, and so somehow I ended up here. I remember this, and these guys told me that I did need a new ABS computer, which was like $2,000 plus tax, and I did make a lot of money back then, so it was a big blow, you know. And that's what happens when you have an old truck. You know, when you have an older truck, things start breaking, and usually it's not small things, it's big things. And so yeah, this guy says anything like engine fault, they don't do roadside assistance. He says it's too complicated to do diagnostics on, and he doesn't have parts. So what kind of a roadside assistance is this? So now I have to email my freight broker and tell him that I'm not gonna be able to be at the port at 8 o'clock. You know? But they have a bunch of they booked 22 trucks. 5 for Monday, 5 for Tuesday, 5 for Wednesday, 5 for Thursday, 2 for Friday. That's what they told me. But I don't know how long that big crane will be there, right? They ordered a big crane, and so if that crane, because of me, has to sit another day, you know, it's super expensive. So basically I have to be there Monday. And so what the guy says, he says we open at 7, which is good. So basically he says at 7 o'clock be at the door in the back, and he says the guys will do diagnostics and they will tell you what's happening. And of course they have parts here. I hope they have the part that I need, or maybe it just needs resetting something, I don't know. But that's what's happening, you know. Trucking, right? Something always can go wrong. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. And that part of the video with the landscape I was recording, you know, this thing was sitting. I didn't use it too often, that little thing you see on the window, on the windshield, the dash cam. And I remember that, hey, I got this because all my GoPros were out of juice. And that's one issue with GoPro cameras, is that they cannot record and charge at the same time. That's why it's hard to use them as an actual dash cam. Whereas this one, it was designed to be a dash cam, and so I have this long wire. As soon as I plug in, it starts recording automatically. And I double checked the memory card. I double checked I synchronized the time with the phone, because I got an app on the phone that can communicate with this. I checked the resolution, everything was good. And so I haven't looked yet at the images, at the video. I'm gonna do it now after this, because yeah, now I cannot drive, right? Because the time is going, it's gonna shut me down to 5 miles per hour, and then what? I cannot drive in the port at 5 miles per hour. I won't be even able to go on the freeway. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna, you know, raise my window over there, and it's a bit chilly. It's like just 53F plus 11. It was much warmer in Ontario because now I'm more to the north. And what I'm gonna do is I wanna go. Oh, that's what this guy's doing. So this trucker has 2 loads. He had that big truck, and then he has a small trailer. And so now what they're doing is, this guy is backing on the ramps to hook up to that small trailer and drive it on. Okay, now it makes sense. So now he can just hook up to I guess he has some pintle hitch in there. Oh, he has a winch. Yeah, okay. So he has a winch. So now you see that's exactly what I've been driving. So you see now his bed is sliding backwards, and now it tilts, right? And so he's gonna tilt it down so it becomes like a level surface level with the trailer, on which you see in the mirror there. See bottom part of the mirror? You can see that little trailer sitting there. And so this guy is gonna park his thing like this, and now he's gonna hook up the winch and drag that trailer, and off they go into the distance. Beautiful. But anyway, so yeah, after this I'm just gonna do a little reconnaissance mission, go to that Kenworth, and the guy says I don't have to drop the trailer. He says there's a lot of space in there. He says just first in the morning, he says go to the door, keep your trailer, because maybe, like, you know, maybe it's just some kind of a fluke it happens with this thing, because again it's kind of funny that I've been driving no issues, and that sign, that message came on when I switched to idle. You know, it's a pretty much new truck, right? I have 200,000 kilometers on it, which is what, 122,000 miles. And I think that's the owner. There's a pickup truck parked in front of me, and there's a lady here standing next to my trailer, and she has a phone out and she's recording. So yeah, these are very useful. You know, these tilt and load or roll back trucks are super useful. One other cool thing you can do with them is you can pick up containers. You know, like if there's a container, you just put your bed down and then you lift the side of the container, put a couple of timbers under, and then you drop your bed right on the ground so that the container now is a couple of inches over your bed, right? And then you hook up your winch. Yeah, basically mostly it's not just the bed but the winch. The winch is, like, you know, an ingenious little gadget that comes in super handy. So now I think, yeah, he's gonna hook up to that pintle hitch with his winch, drag it on, and hope it doesn't fall off. But yeah, so again I get distracted. So yeah, I'm gonna go and take a look how big is that thing. If it's not big enough, because I got the booster in the back, right? If it's not big enough, I'll just drop the trailer and take the neck with me. It takes like 2 seconds to disconnect like that. And this way also it's hard for somebody to steal your trailer if there's no neck, right? You need to have exactly the same neck to get the trailer. So yeah, unfortunate, but you know, this stuff happens, right? So those are the news. Those are the news, but what's waiting for me is a 38 foot long track from a monster crane that weighs about at first they said 98,000, then I looked at all my paperwork, it says 89,000 pounds, but still it's 90,000 pounds. It's much bigger than what I hauled before. That track was 35 metric tons, which is 76,000 pounds. This one is 90 almost, and that one was 30 feet long. This one is 38, and I got all kind of blocks. I got all kind of blocks, and I got some extra small ones from the crane guy in my yard who was helping to load the Jeep. And but I cannot miss that load because I drove too far. I'm like probably 900 miles away from home right now. I need that load. So, and to get the load, we need to fix the truck. So hopefully it's not going to take too long in the morning. If it's a bad sensor, maybe just a bad wiring somewhere, you know, like this stuff happens. Maybe Was it raining actually? Maybe it was raining and maybe just water got somewhere. I don't know. Okay, one last time. Let's see what happens if I turn the key. Check engine line still there. It doesn't want to disappear. Alright, see? Power reduced due to SCR system fault. Seek service to repair SCR. Power reduced due to SCR system fault. And you see the engine light does not disappear. Still there. Yeah, you see? Power reduced. So I gotta fix it. Well, I'm stuck here anyway, right? So I thought I would try to see what I can do. So I started watching some videos on YouTube, like what to do, you know, when you have a fault code with emissions. And watched a couple of videos. They all say the first thing to do is passive regeneration. Okay, so I have the switch. I have the switch over here, right? And the way this stupid switch is labeled, all I see is disable. Like, to me, that says disable manual. You know, they should basically, they use the three, like they have two types of switches for this. Now I know they have a 2-position switch and a 3-position switch. And what this looks like, it's like they use the 3-position switch, because you see this spot is not labeled. And actually the manual says what it does is if I click it down here, it'll disable automatic regeneration. But if I click it here and hold it for 4 to 8 seconds, it should start regeneration. And they said sometimes that's the problem. That's what causes some kind of a sensor fault. Basically just maybe some soot somewhere there on the sensor. And they said make sure you're in parked, that the engine brake is not activated, that PTO is off. Like basically I checked everything, I'm meeting all the criteria to initiate the parked regeneration. So I start the engine, I push this 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 hours. No, I'm kidding. I think the longest I held it was like 20 seconds. And they said, you know, the RPM should increase. Like you are at idle, and then the RPM should increase. And then in my and I got 2 books, right? Because they want to make it confusing. So you got a Kenworth, you know, T880, T680 book, and then you have this Cummins, right? And I start reading here. There's nothing there that can help me, except it just tells him what the gauges are. Then it says look for a supplement on emissions for your Cummins engine. They said there's a supplement booklet. And I remembered over here I have some stuff was in there, and I found this engine after treatment systems. And I find this, so that's what pretty much what I have is no, not this, but the symbol was like this with the exclamation mark, and it says see emission system lamp on page 14. And we go here, and I cannot still, like I said, I cannot do regeneration. And so now here it says emission system lamp. Perform the following steps if an emission related derate occurs, which it did, and the emissions lamp comes on. Number 1, add DEF fluid more than 1/4 of a tank. 2, perform parked regeneration, which I could not do. And 3, seek service at the next stop if the warning light is still on. Okay, and so I look at my tank. I was at 50%, and like I said, it started moving really rapidly because I only started driving yesterday, right? I left my Cambridge yard yesterday, and I only reached before Napanee, right? No, wait, I started Friday. Yeah, I started Friday. Today's already Sunday. So I started driving Friday. I had 100% of that, and it didn't move until today. And today it started moving from 100% to 50%. And so I got my Vortex. I always forget the name of that stupid thing. You know, the thing that you put in the tank not to spill stuff. Воронка. You know, like, I have the Russian word in my head, but I always forget the English word. But anyway, and then I looked and I wanted to go to the truck stop, just get, so I thought maybe I got really some bad, you know, DEF or something, right? So that's the easiest, like what I can do now till I'm waiting for those overpriced guys to open. Actually, and I went there and there was some guy washing his car, and he says he's a service guy, but he's just there to wash his car, but the door was open. And I asked him, I said, hey, I talked to your roadside assistance guy, and he says, come here at 7, you guys can do diagnostics. And he says, yeah, I'll be here at 6:30, and the supervisor will be here. So he says, just pull up to the door and we'll do a quick diagnostics, and then we'll tell you if we can fix it or not, because he did not know if they're busy or not. And so that was a good reconnaissance mission, you see, because I got to talk to the actual technician that will be there tomorrow. But anyway, then I found this, that, you know, the first step is to add DEF, because, you know, maybe you had some bad diesel exhaust fluid, maybe it got splashed somewhere there, maybe the what they call it, level sending unit is not working properly, like this little sensor that tells the system how much DEF is in there, right? And so I wanted to go to the shop to buy that, you know, tank of DEF, and I hate that because it's like 20 bucks, and then you have to, it's very hard to put it in, you have to hold it for like 10 hours, right? And then I look behind me, and this is a brand new truck stop, right? It used to be like an old ugly shell. Now the shell is still there, but now in the back behind me, you can probably see in the mirror, they have new Shell diesel pumps. And so I walked over there, and I see that they have DEF at the pump. I look at the price, 68 cents per liter. And so I talked to the guy there. I said, which direction do you want me to come in? This way, this way? He says, well, from that way, because the pump is on the left side. So and so I went like this after, and the guy left that step. The guy left. So I turned around, went there, and my thing keeps beeping, SCR fault, engine derated. It's like basically the world is ending. Everything is bad. The sky is falling, except the sky looks pretty good on the Samsung phone. And so I pump about 25 liters. 25 liters, which is what? So basically, let's say 4 liters is 1 gallon. So like 6 gallons US. I pay the guy, it was, like I said, 68 cents Canadian per liter, so I don't know, $18. And then I get into my truck, and this happens. Warnings and faults. Let me just read that in case you guys did not catch this. Warnings and faults, no warnings. No warnings. So I called, I couldn't believe this. So I call again that kind soul in Cambridge. I don't know the guy's name, but he's a service writer. Because my Kenworth, unlike this one over here, they open 7 days a week in Cambridge, Ontario, right? So I called the guy and I recognized his voice. I said, hey, I think I talked to you about my little issue here. And he says, yeah. So I said, hey, I just wanted to share something. I said, maybe that can help you in the future. I said, I just found a supplement booklet for comments after treatment systems, and it says when you have a light like that, first step is just, especially if you're low on DEF, he says, the booklet said add def, and I said I did that, and I said as soon as I filled up the tank and then restarted the engine, all the warnings disappeared. And he said, really? I said, yeah. I said, because my screen was just like you saw now, my screen was in that section where warnings are, because that's not the default screen. Default is like your RPM or your speed, right? But I had it over there because I was trying to get rid of it. And I said, yeah, when I started the engine, it was by default, by, you know, from the previous start, it was in that message section. And it says, I could not believe my eyes. I said, no messages, no warnings. I you know, I drove here, 300 meters. So I said, what do you think the chances are that this thing will come back? And this guy was really surprised, and he says, well, so that's not a NOX sensor, which is like 700 Canadian, plus install, plus taxes. So he says, maybe you have a bad sending unit in the tank, or bad gauge or something, you know. So basically it's something super basic, but I cannot believe it. So I fixed the problem. Marshal SERGEI fixed the problem and saved $1,200, because they said, this guy from Cambridge said, yeah, it's $700 for the sensor, plus labor, plus diagnostics, plus regen. He says you're looking at about $1,200, $1,300 Canadian. But now, of course, you see my D rate is gone. So I said the worst case scenario, this guy says, he says the worst case scenario, if this thing comes back, you will still have like up to 6 hours to drive. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm trying to accomplish. They want me at the port, and I need to load. Like, what happens after, even if it comes back on, but I need to load because they're paying for that big crane, right? And so he says, yeah, he says the best way to do it, actually, he says, just drive 10 miles one way, 10 miles back. He says, if nothing happens during the 20 miles, you're good to go. But he says, I said, well, I cannot do that. I need to get my 8 hours of time off so I can start real early tomorrow. And he says, yeah, so now you don't have any D rate, so the clock is off, right? Otherwise it would start, you know, counting, right? When to initiate the D rate. So now there's no D rate, the clock is off. So he says, and I'm only 2.5 hours away from the port, 255 kilometers, so 150 miles. So he says, even if it happens, when I start driving, I will still have plenty of time to get to my destination, to the port, get loaded, and then if it happens, then I'm gonna deal with it, you know. So good news, bad news. I feel a bit uncertain, but if it was corrected by DEF, I don't think it's the SCI. It's probably something with my DEF, you know. And actually, I think last time what I did, sometimes what happens is that I feel too much, and the DEF goes inside there, inside that little shirt or cover, you know. I don't think that's good, because of course it's corrosive, right? So maybe it, but anyway, I'll have it checked out when I'm back, maybe at my yard, and just take the truck. And I still want to fix the those things on the fuel tanks, you know, where the rubber gets all screwed up. So basically something is wrong with the actual, those metal pieces there. I think they have to be like the rubber has to be replaced, and those metal things, they're like belts, they have to be strengthened or tightened, you know. Anyway, so that's it. I just thought I would share with you guys this so that I don't you know, leave you hanging. And so there is a silver lining, but again, I'm not sure how long this will last. But again, no warnings, no messages, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But tomorrow, yeah, I'm gonna load. So now the first thing I gotta do is I gotta email the girl, tell her that I'm not gonna be late, so I'm gonna be on time. And then tomorrow I'm gonna get up at 4 o'clock and start driving and be there at 7:30. Thanks for watching.